Let's talk about the thought that quietly ends more progress than almost anything else. And here it is. One bad week just ruined everything. If you've ever had that thought, I want you to know this right away. It makes sense. You're not dramatic. You're not weak. You're responding to disappointment. When you care about change, even small interruptions don't just feel inconvenient. They feel personal. One bad week can feel like it was proof that everything was fragile to begin with, that any progress you made was just fake, like you were only doing well because nothing went wrong yet. That story feels convincing, but it isn't true. A bad week doesn't erase a good month. It doesn't cancel momentum. It doesn't reset your body, your habits, or your identity back to zero. It just means you had a week. Most people don't stop because of what happens during the bad week. They stop because of what they decide the bad week means. And usually, it means this: I messed it up. I lost it. I'm back at square one. I knew this wouldn't last. That interpretation is what turns a pause into a quit. We've been taught to see consistency as all or nothing. You're either on track or off track, disciplined or undisciplined, successful or failing. There's no room for being human in that model. But your body doesn't work that way. Your habits don't work that way. And your identity definitely doesn't work that way. Progress isn't built by perfect streaks. It's built by patterns that survive interruptions. Your body doesn't forget how to adapt because you missed a few workouts. Your metabolism doesn't reset because you had a stressful week. Your nervous system doesn't erase progress because life got heavy. That idea is a myth, and it's one that keeps people stuck. When you say, one bad week ruined everything, what you're really feeling isn't failure. It's disappointment, and disappointment hurts more when you care. If you didn't care, you wouldn't feel this way. The pain itself is evidence of commitment, not the absence of it. That pain deserves validation. But the story you attach to it is optional. Nothing about your capacity disappeared because life got messy for a few days. Nothing about your discipline evaporated. Nothing about your ability to show up was erased. The skills that helped you before that week are still there now. What usually happens after a bad week is this. You start negotiating with yourself. You tell yourself you need to get back on track. You think about how to make up for lost time. And that's where things start to feel heavy. Because making up for a bad week implies you did something wrong. It implies debt. It implies punishment, and that you should feel shameful or doubt yourself. But returning doesn't require punishment. It requires permission. Instead of asking, how do I make up for this? Try asking, what helped me before this week? That question shifts everything and helps ground us back to the why it all matters. It reminds you that progress didn't come from perfection. It came from something repeatable, something supportive, something realistic. You don't need to restart aggressively. You don't need to prove anything. And it is here that you find you don't need to earn your way back to get started again. You're already allowed to return. Most people delay restarting because they think they need to feel motivated first, or disciplined, or ready. But readiness is often the result of returning, not the requirement for it. Waiting until you feel back on track is how weeks turn into months. Returning gently is how momentum rebuilds. Another thing that makes bad weeks feel so destructive is comparison. You compare this version of yourself to the version from a few weeks ago who felt energized and consistent. And instead of seeing two different contexts, you see one person failing. But context matters. A calm week and a stressful week don't ask the same thing from you. Expecting identical output from both is unrealistic. When your expectations don't adjust, self-judgment fills the gap. And self-judgment is what makes restarting feel unsafe. Your nervous system doesn't move toward things that feel punishing. It avoids them. That's why shame doesn't motivate long-term change. It creates avoidance. Safety is what allows return. When you forgive the interruption quickly, you reduce friction. When you accept the pause without attacking yourself, restarting feels possible. This is why consistency isn't about never missing. It's about never making missing mean something permanent about who you are. A bad week is information, not a verdict. It tells you something about stress, capacity, support, or expectations. And information is useful. Verdicts are paralyzing. When setbacks stop feeling like emergencies, consistency becomes something you can rely on, instead of something you're afraid to break. You stop walking on eggshells with your habits. With your habits, you stop thinking, if I miss once, I'll lose everything. And that changes how safe it feels to try. Real consistency is flexible. It bends instead of breaking. It expects interruptions. It plans for them. It recovers from them. That's the kind of consistency that lasts. If you want to build progress that doesn't shatter every time life interrupts, you're in the right place. This channel isn't about hype. It's about sustainability. It's about helping you build change that survives real life. This is the longevity mindset. Let's build a better reality, one step at a time. And as always, stay happy and stay healthy. Take care.